Are you on the tracks of doom, the rails of despair, do you have a ticket to nowhere?
It's a ticket to nowhere.
Hey, flappers, welcome back. How do I tell a story in D&D without railroading my players? I think every DM has worried about this when starting out, and it's not always the easiest question to answer. Stories have structure. Free will doesn't. And D&D rests somewhere in the middle of those two things. Today, I'm gonna put your mind at ease and answer the question because I think it's actually really simple. Let me explain. We talk about the extremes of railroading. On one hand, we have pure chaos, and on the other hand, we have a true railroad. If we try to execute a story in pure chaos, it's madness. Unpredictability and no direction will lead to no story at all. It likely won't be fulfilling for your players. Executing a railroad story would be equally unfulfilling because the choices don't matter and your players might as well read a magic treehouse book or something. So when planning your sessions, decide first on where you want your players to be for the next part of your story. Have a location and event set in your mind. Let's say it's a ritual to summon a powerful demon at a county fair. I don't know. I have summer on the brain and fried dough, and it sounds yummy. So county fair is where we're going. Ideally, your players show up to the county fair just in time to stop the ritual. They're racing against the clock in a big combat to stop the evil carnies from summoning a demon. Now, imagine how your players might affect this ritual through their decisions leading up to the event. Perhaps they show up early and can thwart the ritual before it even begins. Or maybe they show up late and the demon's already wreaking havoc on the farm animals or something. God, this sounds good. What I'm getting at here is you need to think of some ways your players' actions can affect an event. Don't force them to show up at a certain time. Don't make every decision lead to the same result. Just imagine how their actions can affect the outcome you have planned. The result will always be changing due to your players' actions, but it's manageable and predictable. Timing isn't the only way to affect the event either. There's lots of different things your players can do to affect the way an event turns out. Maybe if their characters decide to do some homework and figure out what's going on, leads them to exploit some aspect of carny religion to thwart the attack. Wow, this is really sounding like a good story. Maybe the players reveal something about themselves to the wrong person and give the carnies a leg up. Now we're starting to develop those choices the players make along the way. The balance between railroading and chaos is struck when you have a planned story that allows your PC's choices to matter. If point A is where your players are now, and point B is the event you have planned, point B needs to be thought of as sort of a big blob. And as your players adventure and make more decisions, the blob will narrow. The possible outcomes become clearer and more defined as that blob narrows down into a little point. And here's what a blob can sort of look like. Kinda looks like the thumbs up you'll click when you like this video. When you like this video, it can get out to more eyes and help more people, so please click the thumb that looks like this blob. Another point to add, with the possible outcomes you still have remaining along the journey, it also becomes clear what choices your players still need to make. As a DM, this makes the storytelling pretty easy. For example, let's say you have determined that your players are going to be late to the ritual, screwed some things up, wasted some time, the demon is going to be summoned to the county fair. This raises some new questions that your players' actions now need to answer for you. Who's going to be at the county fair? Will they get there in time to save most of the people? Will they be able to banish the demon? Or will they need to fight it? Are they bringing any allies along with them? When the focus narrows, you can begin to plan for the actual encounter more in detail. You're gonna have a more fun fight because it's built around those choices that your players made before. Once the encounter happens, the story will be fulfilling for them because it had a level of structure and because their choices mattered. A last note about all of this, once your players find out about an event, it's like a 90% possibility that they are going to hastily show up at the event. But they haven't done any homework. They don't know what they're in for if they just find out about the event and show up. Try to work in some ways beforehand just to punish your players for making that hasty decision because you know they're gonna do it. Since they didn't do their homework, they might not know that the county fair requires you to not have any weapons on you. Maybe they have to sneak into the county fair and that takes a little bit of time. Or maybe there's a central figure to the ritual that they don't know about yet, and since they didn't do their homework, they're gonna have to find that out in the middle of a combat. Hasty actions are pretty common on the part of the player, so don't expect them to do their homework. Reward them if they do, and prepare to punish them if they don't. Remember, it's totally fine to have a plan. That's not railroading. Railroading is forcing your players to take certain actions. That's where you don't want to go. If you need help or you have questions, we have a community of people who are super great, super helpful, super nice in my Discord. Feel free to hop in and just ask anything. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.